Hey friends, Kilo Echo Zero, Victor India Mike, the Travelin Ham, and today's a little different. We're going to be doing a review video for the Tidradio TD-H8. You ready? Let's go.
This is the special activation.
Kilo Echo Zero, Victor India Mike, park.
The traveler has come.
It was a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from Kansas.
Hey folks, Tidradio is nice enough to send me this radio free of charge in exchange for this video review and demonstration. Some of you seem to be offended by such things and are seemingly incapable of processing either subjective or objective information, but we're all hams here. I think we're smart enough, aren't we? Two things I want to look at with this radio. The biggest thing about it is that it is higher power. This is supposed to be a 10 watt HT, and according to tests I've seen done on other channels, it holds fairly true to that. At least on VHF it does well. It drops off a little bit on UHF, but we'll test it on VHF here and see how far we can reach. I'm wanting to play around, maybe do some repeater hunting and see how far we can reach with this guy and his increased power compared to my FT2D from Yaesu, which is a 5 watt radio. See if we really get any kind of bonus out of this. The other thing I want to take a look at is the user interface. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you can see I got a gray hair or two in my beard. Let me get close here. You can see one, yeah, there it is. There's one right there. Okay, I got a few gray hairs in the beard, and our lives are obviously loaded with technology, and the technology is changing daily, whether it be hardware, software, user interfaces are changing all the time, apps are changing all the time, and when you get, there it is, when you start getting this, like that one right there, there's gray hair in your beard, you get tired of having to figure and refigure things out all the time. I want the devices that I pick up to be intuitive, easily usable. We're going to try to get on a repeater. We're going to try to program a repeater without cracking the manual. What? Because I don't believe in manuals? No, that's not the case. I just think our devices need to be that intuitive, so I don't have to work to remember or figure out or relook up how to use something. I just want to be able to pick it up and use it naturally, intuitively. Okay, so overall I found the programming on this radio to be pretty easy. All right, let's start from scratch here. So we're going to program in this repeater 146940. Okay, that's the frequency. I'm going to go to menu. Okay, my transmit TCSS is already in the right spot, 103.5. Offset is 0.6. Offset direction minus. Okay, now that should give me everything I need to hit this repeater. Let's test it. Kilo Echo Zero, Victor India Mike, testing. Appears to have worked, and that was at high power. All right, so let's write that to channel. Now that I know that that works, we'll put this. I'll just pick a random channel. I'll go up to 100, and we'll program it there. So I go to menu. I'm gonna go up to 25, and we'll save that as channel. Oh well, let me type that in, huh? Push and hold, there we go. How high would this guy go? Okay. Excellent. You know, that's not the most convenient way to access a save channel button, but it's at least intuitive. It's in the menu, it's number 25. And when I'm in the menu, I can actually then type a number. Once I know it's 25, I can just type 25 and go right to it. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. That is now channel 100. So if I go to channel mode, I put in 30. It seems like it's got the, it had the walkie-talkie channels automatically programmed in. If I go up and go past 30, 100, there it is. Hey, that was pretty easy. Pretty good. I figured all that out. You know, an old guy like me, I figured all that out without the manual. I'm good with that. Now, one thing I haven't been able to figure out, and this is one of those silly little things, you can see on each of these buttons here, there is, you know, like a shift function. So on the 0 key, I could also change the squelch function. On the asterisk key, I can activate the scan function. The question I have is, how do I access these? I haven't figured out how, you know, is there another button somewhere that I push? Like a shift button to get those to work? I think if I hold this, I can get the scan to work. And there it's scanning. So all I did was push and hold there. Okay, so squelch, do I just push and hold? No, it wants to just type a 0. See, so I can't figure out how to access these blue buttons. I don't think it's the Bluetooth button. That might be something I have to look up on the menu. But see, that's something that's just not intuitive. If there was a blue button or something here, if the menu button was blue, and so I could hold menu and push that, and you know, if there's something that was obviously acting as a shift key, that would make me happy, or a function key, if you prefer. You know, but those are the kind of things that will frustrate me as I'm using a radio. So I'll have to look that up and see if maybe it's just a little too convoluted, or if it's a simple thing you just have to remember, or if I'm just too dumb to figure it out, which that's a possibility. Hold this. All that did was lock. Okay, I get the lock to work. I can get the scan to work. Turn Bluetooth back off. Timeout timer. See, I can't access the turn off timer. So, you know, that's just one of those things. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Other than that, it seems fairly intuitive. The menu selections, you know, maybe they could, you know, I might organize these a little differently, but there's 45, 46 settings. Yeah, there's a 0, so there's 46 settings. That's not too bad. And I can access squelch right there and change that easily enough. So it's not terribly convenient, but it is intuitive. There's no other menu. There's no deep menu or anything like that. It's all right there. So I like that. And then they've got 2 buttons here. That gets it in FM mode. Let's see. See, remember what radio stations are around here. Black old sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Not bad. This is our annoying local station that is already playing Christmas music. Let's see. I think this was the Teeny Bopper station when I was a kid, but it's I think it plays alternative stuff now. That's that button. This button activates the flashlight, which I've never really figured out the use for those, because I tell you something, guys. Here's something to have in your everyday carry. I use this daily. And once you get it in your pocket, you got yourself trained to think to use it, boy, is that handy. So the other feature is this orange button on here, and this is programmable, and I haven't been able to figure that out either. So this seems like it's one of those custom buttons. It doesn't do anything now, but you can program it to do any number of things. Okay. So it does that, just, you know, in case you ever need that. Then you have to figure out how to turn it off. See, that's that stuff I'm talking about. Was that transmitting? What the heck was going on there? I gotta redo that. Huh. Okay, so that indicated that was transmitting on channel 5. So what I want to do now is I want to do some repeater hunting with this guy, and let's see exactly how much farther we can hit a repeater with the extra 5 watts of power on the 2-meter band. In the practical world, what is that really going to do for us? Now, a lot of people talk about how much your signal strength comes up when you add power. So when you double your power, your signal strength only comes up half an S unit, right? Well, I've got a little slightly different hypothesis after the Grand Canyon activation, and after I doubled my power, after I went from 25 watts to 50 watts, all of a sudden I reached a lot farther. As soon as I increased that power, I made it to Connecticut, whereas, you know, Illinois maybe was the farthest I've made in that direction. I made it to Alaska when before all I made it to was Idaho. So there was a pretty good difference in the distance that I covered in getting those 2 long contacts after I upped the power. So is that going to show up here as well? Let's find out. So we are located today in what would probably be considered the Travelin Ham's home base, even though there's probably parks in Maine that I've activated more than this one. But we're at Cheney Lake State Park. I'm about 20 miles west of Wichita, Kansas. And this is where we lived before, well, not on the lake, but nearby. This is the area we lived before we sold our house and moved into the 8-ton Radio Go box. What's nice about this area, obviously it's a flat area. We got good view of the horizon in all directions, except maybe to the northwest. But there's a slew of repeaters out of this direction. Wichita is that direction. There's little towns to the north. There's little towns to the south, all the way to Oklahoma City. There's all range of repeaters to try and hit. That'll give us a good feel. It's not like we're going to have a bunch of repeaters at 20 miles, and then all of a sudden we're going to jump to 100 miles. So we should be able to get a good feel of exactly how far we can reach with 10 watts versus how far we can reach with this 5-watt radio, with my 5-watt Yaesu. So traveling like we do, there are a number of times when the nearest repeater is a long ways away. Where we camped up north of Gardner, Montana, when we visited Yellowstone National Park, my nearest repeater was 97 miles away. So if there's a way I can reach a little bit farther with a little more power, that might really be worth something to me. And we're going to try it with the standard stock antenna for this radio. We're going to try it with the standard stock antenna with this radio. I also have my Arrow directional antenna that I can hook up to this radio and see if we can get out even farther. How far could I reach with this radio and a directional antenna? Well, here we go. The repeater I hit the other day in the first part of the video was about 18 miles away to my northeast. Now we're going to go 23 miles to my straight north. Should have no problem reaching that repeater up in Hutchinson with 10 watts. As long as I've got this programmed right, I feel like I've got the CTCSS codes programmed, but it still says off right there on the screen. So we'll see if this works. I might have a setting I'm missing. KE0 VIM testing. Okay, and when I push transmit, that time it did say CT when I hit the transmit button. So right now I think it's telling me that receive CTCSS is off. When I hit transmit, it showed it. So we got connection 23 miles. Whew. Okay. All right, now we're going to try the Yaesu out to our 23-mile repeater. It's on 1, 4, 6, 8, 20. I like the beeps on this one. CTCSS code was 103.5, I believe. 23 miles with the Yaesu, 5 watts, and the rubber duck antenna. KE0 VIM testing. Yeah, got it on both radios. All right, so we hit from 23 miles. Our next one is kind of off to my left here to my southeast. That's 27 miles. We're going from 23 to 27, hitting a repeater in Hayesville. KE0 VIM testing. KE0 VIM testing. Change my position here a little bit. Bearing to this tower is 113 degrees. 180 is right there. 90 is right there. It should be in a nice clear direction here. KE0 VIM testing. Okay, well, let's try the competition. Okay, 147.105 is the frequency, and then 151 is the tone. KE0 VIM testing. Negative. KE0 VIM testing. Nothing. Okay. Okay, so with the rubber duck antennas, I've got a virtual tie between the Yaesu and the Tidradio, the 5 watts and the 10 watts, both of them reaching the 23-mile repeater and neither reaching the 27-mile repeater. Seems like if I got 23 miles with 5 watts, I should be able to get 27 miles with 10 watts. Let's get out the secret weapon. Alright, we're going to try with the competition first. Competition. This is a significantly more expensive radio. I would expect higher performance out of this. So, we're using the term competition lightly. Okay. Alright. Alright, Hayesville, can you hear me now? KE0 VIM testing.
K0RP repeater.
Alright, got it with the directional. Bingo. 5 watts and a directional, we got it. Pressure's on! Wash away the rain like old sun. Alright, 27 miles, 10 watts. KE0 VIM testing. Okay. All right, next repeater is 44 miles. We're going to Derby, Kansas on their repeater. We've got the 10 watt Tidradio with the directional. See how it works. KE0 VIM testing. Had the sound all the way down. Got it. I had the volume down on the first transmission, so it did nothing. But turned the volume back up. Since I identified, I just went ahead and kerchunked it, and I got the return tone. So good at 44 miles. Let's try the 5 watt. KE0 VIM testing. KE0 VIM testing, testing. That's negative, Ghost Rider. All right, so 5 watts on the Yaesu with the directional antenna. Seems to have a range somewhere between 27 and 44 miles. I know my line of sight is good because I did hit it with the other radio. So the Yaesu is eliminated, let's say somewhere between 30 and 35 miles. Let's keep pushing the Tidradio, the 10 watts, and see where that gets us. Now we're programmed to hit the Winfield repeater. That is 54 miles from this location. All these distances are provided by Repeater Book. And as the crow flies from this GPS position, 54 miles. Let's see how it does. Same direction. KE0 VIM testing. KE0 VIM testing, testing. All right. Okay, settings are all correct for the 10 watts. So 10 watts with the directional fell short of 54 miles. So somewhere between 44 and 54. We'll say 50 miles compared to 30-ish for the Yaesu. So the power difference did show up with the 2-meter Yagi antenna. So the final verdict on the extra 5 watts, what difference does it make? Well, if there's a repeater that seems like it's just out of your area, that could very well make the difference of you hitting that repeater and not hitting that repeater. If you've got one that's 20-25 miles away and your 5 watts doesn't hit it, 10 watts could very well be the thing that makes a difference. Yeah, in power level it doesn't make, that's the comparison people always make, is how well, you know, what big a S unit difference it makes when someone receives your signal. But in terms of a distance that your signal will travel and hit a repeater, I think it can make a more significant difference in that regard. So if you've got one 20 miles from your house that you can't hit, you may be able to hit it with the 10 watts, or 25 miles, or 30 miles, whatever your situation may be. To me, I think that's the difference that power can make. And keep in mind, when you increase your range, if you increase your range just a little bit, the amount of area that you're able to hit goes up quite a bit, because it's just a little bit in every direction. So if it doesn't seem like too big a deal to be able to reach a few more miles, well, when you're talking about square area, square miles, you're adding on quite a bit of area. I have figured out the blue keys. What these are quick ways to get to certain functions within the menu. So if I wanted to, let's see. Okay, I hit the menu button and it's on menu item number 32, receive tone. So if I wanted to change the squelch, I can just hit this button, which will, of course it timed out, which does two things. It enters a 0, so it tells it to go to the 0 setting. What that's telling me is settings 0 through 9, it's telling me that 0 is squelch, 1 is step, 2 is transmit power, 3 is save. So I can, you know, if I wanted to change my transmit power, I could just hit 2, and I go there and I can change my transmit power. So that's what those are. They're sort of shift functions. They just are quick access to maybe more popular menu items. I wish CTCSS functions were on here, but that's too high up. Now I can, as I've shown, I can change some of that by just hitting 13. If I knew that's 13, then that goes right there. Can you see that screen? There you go, tilt it up a little bit. Or if I want to change the, if I want to save it to a different channel, I push 25, and then I get to where I can save the new channel. So 0 through 9, these things are just labeled for quick access. And then I can, if I exit out of here, I can press and hold this one to lock the keypads. You see that symbol that popped up right there. Now they're unlocked, or I can push and hold the scan button. Waits till I lit up, and that scans. So we have solved the mystery of the blue shift functions. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you've made it this far, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. They both help out. The hope here is to inspire other ham radio operators to get out and have adventures of your own out in the field, and I can do that better if you hit that subscribe button. I think I've tripled my followership here in the last year, but it's because I was starting off pretty small to begin with. We are a very elite group here at the Travelin Ham. So please subscribe, like, drop comments, share this channel with people that you think would appreciate its content. We'll continue to grow and go on many more adventures here in the future, including next year. We'll be taking off again sometime in early January and heading down to Texas and spending a few months there. We're going to be at the beach. We are planning to go to Big Bend National Park, and we are also planning to be there for the total eclipse that's happening in April. That's what's coming up here. We'll have some adventures down in the Lone Star State. Thanks for watching. This is Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike, the Travelin Ham 7-3.
This is the special activation.
Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike Park.
The traveler has come.
It was a huge, beastly, bulging man plagues were from Kansas.